Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Get out of it, it's not WWF.
I actually know.
Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV. Arsenal are now in a situation where it's only November and the captain's on exile and the manager's on the ropes. I'm back to discuss all the latest crazy happenings of Arsenal, crazy drama that goes on at Arsenal with Serge, Layth, Grumpy Glen and Dan the Man Mountney. Dan, you were at Leicester at the weekend. What were your thoughts watching that? What were you were in the press conference, obviously. What was Emery's demeanour?
I think I described it in the video as he was the most defiant. He was the least defiant man I've ever seen. He came in and he started talking about how Arsenal stuck to the game plan. I don't know what the game plan was, whether it was to draw the game. I think they stuck to it until 68 minutes, but it was just poor, wasn't it? I mean, whether you're in the press box or in the stand and watching at home, you could see that Arsenal weren't going to win that game. They set out to try and contain Leicester, and they did that for a fair old while. Credit to them for that. But they never looked like they were going to score. They had the one disallowed, but bar that, they didn't really have any clear-cut chances. So it was really more of the same, and I think that in the press conference, he was kind of a bit disillusioned in a way, which he has been in recent weeks, talking about sticking to the game plan, having chances, which they didn't really. So just more of the same from Emery, and it doesn't really convince me or anyone else.
Yeah. And we've discussed plenty at length of whether we think that he should stay or go. And nobody thinks that Emery should stay at the club, basically. But it's going to happen. They're going to back him until Christmas, basically. Layth, what do you think he can change himself now? There's an easy run of games coming up. What do you see in the next few games?
What easy.
Southampton?
Carry on.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, as I was about to say before I was rudely interrupted. Southampton lost 9-0 to Leicester. We was at the game on Saturday at Leicester. I was in the away end, and we had a quick look before the game. We were in the club shop, and they were actually selling T-shirts on the 9-0. They had all the scorers doing a roaring trade. Basically, it's a fair play to Leicester for that.
Yeah.
Southampton lost 9-0 to Leicester, obviously, but there's no guarantee we can beat Leicester. That's certainly no guarantee we can beat Leicester. There's no guarantee we can beat Southampton, basically, which is really, really worrying. After Southampton, we've got Norwich City away, I think, on the 1st of December, on the Sunday. Then we've got Brighton on the Thursday after that, and then we've got West Ham away on the Monday. Yeah. So none of those games, if you looked at them at the start of the season, you'd be like, you could get 9-10 points out of 12, potentially 12 out of 12 and that, if you're looking purely in terms of paper and the firepower Arsenal have got and the team that you thought they would be at this stage of the season. But now, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Can we beat Southampton? I don't know if we can. I mean, it's a bit worrying, really. As I say, I mean, I was in the way end on Saturday. We caught up with Dan after the game. Arsenal fans were fantastic. For the first 68 minutes, we were loud after the goals as well. But the first 68 minutes, we were completely out singing Leicester for most of the game. It's always a good atmosphere there as well.
Do you think that's because the fans are so together on this issue of anti-Emery, basically?
Potentially, yeah. But I just think there was just like, there was so much nonsense in the build-up about, fans on Twitter and stuff. And I know it's not a real world, but a lot of fans were saying, we tweeted stuff as well, just saying, get behind your team. Anything else is just, doesn't really matter. You've got to get behind your side. And to be fair, they don't need Gooner Fanzine to tell you that. The Arsenal fans are some of the most loyal in the country, basically. And there was a really brilliant atmosphere for the first 60, 70 minutes because everyone was just like, let's just get behind our side. Let's cheer our team and support our team and see what happens. But after the goals went in, there was a realisation that, okay, we played all right, but we were never going to win the game. And it was just like, I saw a few people sort of, with Emery out banners and all the rest of it, and it wasn't particularly toxic. I thought it was going to be a lot more toxic than that, certainly compared to the last days under Wenger and those sort of times. But it was just, people had just had enough of it. And I think, go back to what you're saying, I think there is a real realisation, like Dan was saying as well, that Arsenal fans have just had enough of Emery, basically. And yeah, maybe they are all united in the fact he's got to go. But like you said, is he going to go? He's not, is he, really? Which is back to square one, basically, because how many points is an acceptable, tally at the next 4 games, out of the next 12 points, basically? What was 7, 8, 9? We should be getting 12, shouldn't we? We're not going to get half of that, potentially, are we?
You obviously look at the performances at the moment, but you look at Southampton, Norwich and West Ham especially, maybe not Brighton, they've been doing okay. You look at those 3 games as mentioned, and you should be taking 9 points from that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Obviously, the way we're playing isn't great, but we're Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to be taking 9 points in those games. That has always been the acceptable standard of Arsenal Football Club. When you're playing teams that are further down the division, especially with 2, I think 2 of those are at home, aren't they?
Yeah.
Southampton and Brighton. Yeah. you've got to be taking maximum points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if Emery doesn't take maximum points from that, then that's the end of him for me.
Yeah, because look at the games after that as well.
We've got Man City and Everton, isn't it?
Man City, Everton, then it's Bournemouth away, and then Chelsea, Man United. So
I mean, those are 4 difficult games.
yeah, well, it's 4 or 5.
We've now
basically,
gone under
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and it happened last season as well. We had that long spell with Wenger when we couldn't beat a top 6 side away from home, but we were comfortably beat sort of like so-called lesser sides.
Yeah.
I just look at the league table now and think there's not one team in that league that I could guarantee Arsenal would beat.
Yeah.
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 And that's a sad state of affairs that it is now.
They should be looking over their shoulders.
We're
shouldn't
now
they?
scraping sort of draws or comebacks at home, whereas before we pretty much beat everyone at home.
Yeah.
Every game at the end of the match.
Going
it's,
away,
yeah.
I'm just like I didn't even watch it Saturday. I had the opportunity to buy it because I was at a mate's who didn't have Sky. But I just thought I can't be bothered because I know the outcome. And as soon as I had the radio on, as soon as we went 1-0 down, I thought there you go, the game's lost. So we don't come back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dan made a good point about Emery saying the team stuck to his game plan. But what was the game plan? There was no game plan.
Well, he started with 3 at the back for the first time this season, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
So why?
yeah.
That doesn't suit Ozil.
Not at all, does it?
Well,
No.
it's a man running out of ideas for me. I mean, I think we said this in the video after the game, didn't we? Just each week he's trying something different. And he just like
It was
when he played Sabaris left wing, you just look at it and go, "Well, what are you doing? Why? What is that going to do?"
Yeah.
And it's the same as that run at the end of last season where it was just dreadful performance after dreadful performance.
4
He
points
just
off 15,
the
yeah.
only way that it looked like it was changing was that the season was going to end. Emery did not look.
Well, that's done a lot good, hasn't it?
Emery did not look like he was gonna find an answer. Basically, obviously we've talked on Emery a lot, and Serge, to discuss the players more. Obviously they're I don't know whether getting off the hook's the right word at the minute because obviously all the focus on Emery. But what do you think? Obviously, the back line particularly, players like David Luiz, he's come in, he's not performed anywhere near the abilities we've seen him play for Chelsea. Do you think the players should be taking more slack?
I think the players should always take more responsibility. I don't think you can blame the manager for every single on-field decision and mistake.
No.
Look at the goal that we conceded against Leicester. Chambers was a couple feet back behind his team, so playing Vardy on. So that's stuff like that. That's not Emery's fault per se. That's the defensive team not working well together. And I think that's been a problem we've had for a very, very long time. Pre-Emery, we've had a problem with defensive sort of just mistakes constantly and them not gelling well together. I mean, we don't know who our defensive lineup should be. Should we play 3 at the back, 2 at the back? Doesn't seem to make a difference. We always concede.
It's almost been a cultural thing for the last few years, isn't it? Like it's
I mean, this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous when I say this, but there's logic in my head, so I'm going to go with it. So you're saying about how it's been a culture for years of being poor defensively. I mean, when we interviewed Lee Dixon, he said, when I was with George Graham, he'd drill you day in, day out and say, you should be here, however many, 8 yards in front of Tony Adams. Tony Adams would be here, Steve Bold would be here, Nigel Winterburn would be here. They knew where each other
I
were.
enjoyed that
And
part.
then he mentioned when Arsene Wenger came in, he said, didn't give him any instructions, he said to him, go and play.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it started from there, from George Graham being so brilliant. That's where the problem started for me. So you look at it and you think, well, Wenger's not had to do any work defensively. You look at when the great defenders of Arsenal left after the Invincible season, and then you go from there, and it's been poor defensively ever since then. So for me, the problem starts way back. They need someone in there who's just going to grab hold of the defenders and say, you're here, and you're here, and you should be here in this situation, here in that situation. Just drill it into them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we had Steve Bold for so many years, and what did he do? It's like,
Yeah, but I mean, we saw at the end of last season, he was sidelined, wasn't he, Steve Bold?
Yeah.
We went to one of the, I think it was pre-Valencia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or it might have been pre-Europa League final, where he was kind of 40, 50 yards off away from the main training session, just knocking the ball around himself.
Yeah,
What use is he there?
marginalised,
I mean,
yeah.
he didn't do great when he was assistant manager, but if you're just going to make him stand there and do zilch, what is he going to do?
Yeah.
But Glen, what were you saying?
He's talking about drilling things into players. The one thing he's systematically drilled into people at the back is to play it out from the back. And it is laughable.
Yeah.
Like I say, I didn't see the game when he saw the highlights, but I was listening to the radio commentary and they were sort of like things, what are Arsenal trying to do here? This is just turning into a farce. But the Wolves game at home, which I was at, there was a real Chuckle Brothers moment, real to me to you to moment. Lino and Guendouzi passed it to each other 3 times and they were just getting more and more compressed. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
It just like It was sort of like, I don't want it, you have it. I don't want it, you have it. You have it back, I'll have it. It's just ridiculous.
It's very strange they stand still as well.
Yeah,
they stand
yeah.
completely still.
You can
It's
just see sort of like the zone.
remember being taught that under
decreasing,
8.
You know, the longer as the clock ticks.
So what is it? I mean, do you think it's Emery just going play out from the back, but not actually drilling them how to do it, or is he just giving them responsibility to do it themselves? Because either way, it's not working, is it?
The other thing is he's obviously not communicating properly. There's loads of rumours coming out of the club that the players don't know what he wants to do. Certainly during games, obviously sort of like, you know, in the back rooms and in the training field, that you can have translators and stuff there. But during the game, when things are not working, there are a lot of stories saying that the players are looking over and they don't really know what he wants them to do when he's trying to change something, when he's trying to change the formation or change the tactics and that. They really can't totally decipher what he wants. And I think that's leading to a lot of confusion and a lack of confidence, indecisiveness, and then, you know, we end up playing like we do. We just keep going back and back and back because we're so nervous about, you know.
And it's quite interesting that on Emery, the personnel's changed recently. He's decided to swallow his pride basically on Ozil and put him in the starting lineup, and Xhaka's possibly also had to swallow his pride with Xhaka. I don't know how influenced he was by the higher ups on taking Xhaka off the captaincy, but still, despite that, we thought that would make quite a big difference, but it really hasn't. They still can't play out the back despite Xhaka's not being there. Yeah. It's a systematic thing.
Yeah, there's no pragmatism there, but there's no understanding of what they're trying to do. There's no coherence, there's no cohesion, there's no principles in terms of being able to play from the back. It's just an absolute shambles. And that is his core tenet of, you know, that sort of PowerPoint presentation he gave to the Congress. He must have talked about playing from the back. This is what I want. These are my principles that have served me so well at Seville and other places as well. And it's just an absolute, it's a disgrace when you think about it, really.
You don't have the players to do it. Why would you do it? I think this is an example for me. So when Arsene Wenger was there, obviously he had Olivier Giroud, didn't he? You wouldn't play long ball football over the top with him up front, would you? You'd play it into his feet and play around him, which they did. So why, when you've got defenders who aren't comfortable playing out from the back, would you do it?
Square pegs and round holes. That's the way. You know, the formations he picks, the players he picks in the wrong positions.
It's clearly not working for everyone to see. So why continue doing it? I understand managers have their ethos and their tactics and what they want to do, but if it's not working, what is the point? You're doing it at a detriment to the team.
And there's no progress in what he's trying to do, and it's been nearly 18 months basically. Yeah.
We've got a lot of attacking flair in that team.
But that's been subdued as well, though.
I would rather watch us play more exciting, direct football, win a few games well.
Would you rather win 5-4 than 1-0?
They can't even do that.
We'll draw 5-5 and lose 5-4 penalties.
We're now, like I said earlier, you know, he's breaking records for all the wrong reasons. You know, we wanted one shot on target against Leicester, none after the 53rd minute. I would rather see us sort of like win a few games handsomely and playing good attacking football, and then, you know, obviously we're going to sacrifice the odd game here and there. But he's just so cautious.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. That 5-4 quote is a complete misnomer in terms of relation into Emery's character, because it's so far the opposite and so far from the reality, because Emery would never rather win 5-4 than 1-0.
Well, they're not going to score 5.
He couldn't even do that anyway. Yeah, exactly.
You look at them and they're not going to score 5, are they?
No, maybe against Liverpool's third string or something.
Yeah, but every time I've been to watch Arsenal this season, I've not enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but
it's been hugely unsatisfying, isn't it?
It's just, you look at them and go, well, they're not going to score. They need a moment of magic. You look at Villa, for example, when they won the game, a moment of magic from Aubameyang with that free kick. You look at Victoria at home, Pepe, 2 brilliant free kicks. They has to rely on moments like that to win games. And that's not right, is it?
And that's really good, because like the 3-2, especially when you've come from behind to win, you can normally come out of the stadium absolutely bounce off the walls going, we've done it. Papered over cracks. You come out and going, how do we win that, first of all? And secondly, we played really badly. It wasn't we played really badly and got away with it. We played really badly, and how on earth are we doing that, basically? And that's twice, Victoria and Villa, like you say. So it's not particularly enjoyable considering the results we've had, and certainly with the 2 3-2s and a 5-5. Yeah.
And it's just the stats as well. Like one of my colleagues, Jono Spencer, did a
Jono Spencer.
Jono Spencer. Best mates to Emery. Did a spreadsheet on Arsenal stats recently, and it's just horrible reading. Basically, it's most shots conceded, shots and targets conceded. Leno's made the most saves, which I'm going to come on to a point about Leno.
Well, I mean,
you know, it's just defensively, and I think mainly the midfielders to blame on this because they don't protect them. But it's just defensively off the ball, it's just horrible.
Well, I mean, the worst stat is definitely the worst start to a season since 1982-83.
I watched games in 1983.
At this point in the season, he's had the worst win percentage of any manager since George Graham in 94-95. That just says it all, doesn't it?
That was another poor season as well. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't. There's no way Arsenal can continue doing what they're doing. For me, obviously, we're going to come on to Emery's future and whatever, but there has to be a change for me.
Yeah.
We can't continue like it is because there's literally no signs of improvement.
And he's not going to affect change himself, is he? So something's going to have to come from above, basically.
He looks like a lost boy. He just doesn't know what to do next.
Yeah. I mean, you touched on Saturday. His body language was dreadful on Saturday, wasn't it?
He came in, he sat down, he'd obviously been standing in the pouring down rain, but he had these strands of hair just like down over his forehead. And he's just sat down, big sigh, good evening. And went into it, and he just
channeling your inner Emery now.
I know. He's like a man who was absolutely dejected. I mean, he's only got himself to blame for me.
I tell you what, the fans are bloody dejected as well.
They should be, rightly.
Yeah, he seemed a bit rattled, didn't he? Like in the match of the day chat, he just seemed rattled. Yeah, and going forward, obviously, they're not looking like they're wanting to make a change. But in the next few games, Arsenal have got, contrary to Glen's opinion, Arsenal have got a fairly easy run of games.
The easiest run of games.
They could have last season.
In the next couple, in the next couple of games, next 3 games, Arsenal could easily win and look very unconvincing. Are you happy with that? Because then, if after this run of games you've got Man City, and you come into that looking unconvincing and winning narrowly or drawing, and then you come into Man City, you get absolutely pumped. Surely they've got to act before then. So Emery's got to show something quite impressive in these next few games, doesn't he?
Absolutely. If I just say something before Serge, obviously, like you say, even if we got 7, 8, 9 points out of 12 in the next 4 games, we're not going to beat Man City, surely. I mean, it goes without saying I want Arsenal to win every game they ever play.
Good prediction.
But we're trying. Well, yeah, exactly. But purely in terms of the game, I don't think we're going to beat Man City at home. Goes without saying, we're not going to get a result at Everton potentially as well. Bournemouth away is always a tricky game. Chelsea at home, they're doing really well under Lampard, surprisingly in my book. Good luck, or not good
so
luck
good
to them.
Against top 6, but
no, but they're still
class side.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say good luck to them, not good luck to them at all. But he's done really well. To be fair, is my point basically. And then we've got Man United. So if we lose against Chelsea at home, lose against Man United at home, who look like there's stirrings of some sort of resurgence there under Solskjaer potentially. That's 2 defeats. If we don't beat Bournemouth, even if we get a point at Bournemouth, that's 1 point out of 9. If we lose at Everton, that's 1 point out of 15 points. After, debatedly maybe picking up 6, 7, 8, 9 points out of 12. That's not good enough in the first place against supposedly lesser teams. So we're going to be left with sort of 9 points out of 27, 30 points. And that's just really worrying.
You mentioned United there. And that's the other really frustrating thing. It's a really squandered opportunity. We should be relishing Spurs and United being where they are.
It's not a good league.
Spurs
It's
are
a bad league.
We should be laughing at them. No one's even talking about it.
We should have beaten both of them, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, we should be outside, really, of those two. We should have so many more points in the... shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, but at the same time, we should have, basically.
But I just think it's frustrating because I think there's a good pool of players there.
Yeah.
Certainly to be playing a lot better than we are at the moment.
Yeah.
And certainly to, mounting a sort of better challenge for that top 4. It just seems like wasted talent, really.
Yeah.
I know we're shaky at the back and that, but I just think if he just sort of took the handbrake off, we went not gung-ho, but just like we're going to start passing it around up front. We're going to start scoring goals.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Under Graham, we weren't particularly attacking, although we did win the Golden Boot twice in 2 years. And we're leading scorers when we won the league in '89 and '91. But at the same time, we were so solid defensively. So if you're not particularly creating, but if you're not creating chances up front, the least you can do is be solid at the back. We're doing neither. We're not creating that many chances, and we're not solid at the back. So what is Emery? What has he been brought in for?
You made the point about Graham there. He understood where his strength was.
Yeah.
He knew he's got 4 of the best defenders in the country. So what we're going to do, the best form of attack is defence. We're going to keep a clean sheet and we're going to score the odd goal.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at Arsenal now and you go, well, when Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, they've potentially got 3 of the best attackers in the league. You throw Ozil in there to create the chances, and they've got an attack that would beat any team on the day.
Yeah. Well, you said that. I got really excited then. Until I realised it was like Emery was boss again.
Oh, I know. Sorry. Well, I'd much rather win a game 3-2, 4-3, whatever, because you're winning the game. But if You can't defend. If you're not going to create chances, what are you going to do?
Yeah, at least look competent in something, basically. And we're not competent
Exactly.
in anything.
You even look at the midfield and it's just gaps. No one's putting in tackles.
And what I was going to say a minute ago, he's made Torreira look really average for the first 6 months last season. Torreira was brilliant.
Don't get me started.
And I know you could argue he's had a long season in terms of Copa America, and his manager at Sampdoria is now AC Milan, although they're struggling. Rumoured to be interested in picking him up in the summer again. Although Torreira did say he wasn't interested, but at the same time, there's no excuse for Torreira playing as badly as he did. He was obviously back in the side on Saturday. I was really disappointed with him on Saturday,
but he has a
and
really
that's
simple
because
job.
Emery has mucked him around basically.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Dixon said it when we spoke to me. It's a really simple job. You put him in the middle, and he just goes side to side. Just let him do it.
Yeah.
Don't tell him to go forward because you're the best man to press. That's ridiculous. Just put him in front of the back four and go side to side, side to side.
Exactly.
It's almost like he's trying to get him to play Kante's role.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Like, he's not Kante.
Under Sarri, it didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah, exactly. Maybe
it's working now. Like, to be fair, when he's played this season, he has looked at it's worked.
Exactly.
But he is.
He's not an attacking defensive midfielder, basically. That's the bottom line.
He's not a Cam.
No. But the thing is, maybe Emery got sidelined by the fact that Torreira scored that later goal. Was it Newcastle or Huddersfield?
No, Liverpool.
No, the end of last season, before Christmas. Sorry, he popped up with a late goal. I don't know if it was Newcastle.
Huddersfield, 1-0
and maybe he saw something in there just to go. Actually, Torreira can play further forward, but he's completely ruined his confidence by pushing him further forward because he's not an attacking defensive midfielder, and he's certainly not an attacking midfielder per se. So that's just another failing from Emery.
It's like Gilberto popped up with the odd goal back in the day, but you wouldn't play him like.
Well, his nickname was
next to
Shield, wasn't
Terry
it?
would you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
Everyone knew
just,
where they played in those days.
It's another case of sort of like confusing the players.
Yeah.
Not sort of like telling them what their role is and that. We know what Torreira's good at, and he's not allowing him to do that.
Yeah.
Square pegs in round holes.
And just to transition the conversation a little bit to it, and actually a positive that I don't think anybody's really picked up on, Serge, is Bernd Leno. He made the most saves in the league. He's obviously had the worst defence in front of him, arguably, but I think he's been really good. He's been really solid, and he's just looked calm. He's just got about his job. I think he's been a consistent performer this season.
Yeah, he's been fantastically doing that role, but I mean, he's got two options: either play up at the back or pump it forward. And he does. When he plays from the back, he still doesn't. I don't think
it's his fault for playing out the back. I think his distribution's fine. It's what they do after it.
Yeah, but I think sometimes they're just wanting to just kick it long.
Sometimes he does. To be fair, like I remember at Sheffield United, there was a particular moment where he's just like, "Well, just get on with it."
Yeah.
And sometimes they do go against it, but he's clearly been told just pass it short.
We're fortunate to have him for what we need, but how much longer can we keep hold of him? We keep on having terrible defence in front of him. He's going to get frustrated because the amount of goals, the shots he's conceding, goals we're conceding. Because we know every time we watch a game, we never go, "Oh, we're going to keep a clean sheet here."
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever said clean sheet. Every prediction I've always made, every bet on has always been 2-1, 3-1, 4-1.
They're always going to concede. Yeah.
Always.
I mean, who was it said 0-0 at Liverpool?
Toby, I completely agree on that. I think Leno's a top class keeper. I mean, look at the Wolves game especially. He made 3 or 4 just absolutely world class saves. The one from Matt Doherty in the first half where he runs onto that cross and he's about 3 yards away from him. He just gets his hand up, saves it quickly. Top keeper for me. But I think the playing out from the back, you've got to look at it this way. Unai Emery is essentially in charge of Bernd Leno's future. If he doesn't follow, it looks to me that Emery's saying to them, play out from the back and just stick to it regardless. Just you have to keep playing out from the back. So if you're Bernd Leno and you know that Unai Emery is the man who can potentially drop you, you'd say, right, well, I'm just going to have to keep playing out from the back here. I don't want to lose my spot, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So what does he do in that situation? Does he go against the manager for the sake of the team, or does he put his own future at risk?
Yeah, that's a really good point because Sheffield United, there was a couple of other games as well, when you could see him trying to play out from the back. He's rolling it to the defenders, he's getting it back or whatever, and he's just gone, there's no other option. I've got to play it long. He almost looks guilty when he does it, basically. But the fact he does it is good in my book because it shows that he can be pragmatic and he's actually. I know you don't want to go against your manager's wishes, but if it means that there's 2 forwards bearing down on you, what else can you do, basically? And I like the fact he does that. Yeah. Going back to Leno in terms of attributes, I think he's got really good handling skills. He looked really good on Saturday in a really wet, greasy.
Especially from the crosses as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's not afraid to punch. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of goalkeepers punching, but at the same time, there is a time and a place for it, and he does it really well. Yeah. His handling skills are really good. What I like about him as well, he's got really good footwork for a keeper. Not just in terms of good technique, in terms of a sweeper keeper, but just in terms of when you can, when you need to maybe close the angle down, when you sort of, when the ball's coming in, you can really attack the ball. Footwork's so important, and he's quite a big lad as well. And he's got really nimble footwork. I've been really studying him as a former 5-a-side and 11-a-side keeper myself, whose nickname was the Flying Potato. But I digress, basically. But I really like his footwork, along with a lot of other things, basically. And he's not showing as much as he can do because feels like for me, Emery is hampering him, is smothering him basically. Yeah,
But the one thing we actually have always had good keepers.
I think he's been the best for a while, to be fair.
I wouldn't call Mountney a good keeper.
No, I think since
Fabio
since Raymond in his prime, he's been the best keeper.
Yeah, but like, you look at Chesney's at Juve, you've got obviously.
I wouldn't have thought
Fabianski's
Chesney's a good keeper.
Chesney's a great
No,
keeper.
he's a
At
quality
Arsenal.
keeper now, but Arsenal he was.
Yeah,
poor.
Arsenal.
Are you talking about Chesney?
Chesney.
I was going to say, like, who is, in terms of keepers, is Leno the best in how
that we've
long?
had since Lehmann.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a
since
doubt.
Lehmann,
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame.
In terms of performances, maybe
Since
not
Lehman in
quality, is what you're
2010,
saying.
let alone 2006.
It's such a shame that for Leno because he's never ever going to play for Germany because he's got 3 other keepers who are
Well, yeah,
above him.
Ter Stegen, Neuer.
Trapp and
yeah.
All right, we're back. The international break's coming up, and Lacazette has come out and said that the Arsenal team is in need of confidence. They're lacking in confidence after the recent run. Serge, what do you reckon about that? I mean, it's not a good sign, is it? It's
I think we all
not surprising.
we all agree that no one likes the international break. No one ever has liked it. International football friendlies are just a total waste of time. But I think with our current downward form and downward trajectory in terms of performances and players' confidence levels, I think we do desperately need it. And I think Torreira's going to go out on the Uruguay tour, and I think that's going to be quite handy for him to try and get back into the role he played and what we all love to see when he was at Uruguay. Yeah. So hopefully that'll get him running up again. Martinelli's obviously still on form. He's playing for Brazil under-23s against USA. Yeah. That's going to be really strong and helpful. And obviously Guendouzi's previous performances, even though in Leicester he wasn't great, his previous performances have earned him the nod as well. So I think it's good and all in all for us to have it. But the fact even Lacazette claims that they have no confidence, that's I think quite a shocking indictment of the team and the dressing room at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, when your second striker says, "Yeah, I need 2 weeks off, lad," well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite ironic because normally the international break comes completely at the wrong time and Arsenal in really good form. For once, I think we're actually welcoming 10, 15 days break or whatever it is, just because the team can regroup or go away, refresh, spend some time, like you say, with Torreira, just literally going, this is what I do, basically.
Yeah.
So, and then hopefully come back.
I mean, hopefully Emery can actually watch the internationals play and actually look at Torreira and go, oh, that's what he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we need.
Do we, is Switzerland playing? Do we know if Xhaka's playing?
Yes, he is.
Well, he's the Swiss captain, isn't he?
I know, but yeah.
It's not Arsenal captain.
No, not anymore, anyway, yeah.
And obviously, Xhaka at the minute, he's on exile, basically. He's not featured in the squad since he was stripped of the captaincy and Aubameyang took over as club captain.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think he's been back to his. I think he's been back to Switzerland, hasn't he? He's been hanging around London, but
and his child was only born a month ago.
Yeah,
so I think he's focusing on family at the moment. And basically burying his head in the sand.
Didn't he change his Instagram profile?
He did. He got rid of it. It just says Under Armour athlete.
Right, and it was Switzerland, Arsenal, Switzerland.
The profile picture was. Yeah.
And Emery obviously came out and said that I'm not sure if he's going to play again. Obviously, Emery's English. You know, you can never really tell what that means. But
I think it's probably a good thing. I think after that, I think it'd be almost impossible for him to be able to gain any confidence from the fans again. Yeah. So I think it's the right decision. I think no one's surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
But what I am surprised about, which is when it comes to captains, even though I said in previous videos I'm not entirely sure how much difference to make, I don't like them being forwards. I don't like a club captain being an attacker. I think a club captain should be a defender or a midfielder.
Just looking at the play rather than your back.
Because he's not looking backwards, is he? He can't see how we're playing out from the back. Well,
I don't know the way Arsenal play. He's not looking forward.
no.
So I mean, obviously I like him as a striker. He's a fantastic striker. There's no doubt in that. But I don't like the idea of a forward being a club captain.
Are we also worried that he hasn't signed his new contract yet, or a contract?
That's obviously a massive concern.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's that sort of personality. I don't really see any point in him having the captain's armband. He's not a rouser. He's not, is he? It's,
But there are no captains. You look at the Arsenal.
And we got 5 though.
Layth.
Was it 4? Or
4
3?
now. No. Rob Holding's now the 5th one. Isn't
Right.
he?
Okay. So
Yeah, we'll be going down to Matt Macy soon. You look at that Arsenal squad. They're just who's captain? Who's a leader in that squad? Bar Bellerin.
I really think it should have been Bellerin.
I completely agree with you. But there are no proper leaders, are there?
We were in the away end.
Guendouzi.
Was too young, too naive for me.
Yeah,
I mean, in the future possibly, but
he leads the charge on the pitch at the moment.
But then when something goes against him, he doesn't control his actions very well. He gets far too close to the ref. And
he's not thrown the armband and the shirt and stormed off yet. So
which is always a bonus.
And on Bellerin, I mean, we've given our case for him before, but we were in the away away end at Anfield,
Yeah.
and he took the armband. And I know obviously Arsenal put in a pretty dreadful defensive display, and obviously he's part of that back line. But the way he behaved on the pitch, I thought at full time he came over to the away fans. And he was checking with the stewards on whether everyone that fell over,
Including Rosie,
including Rosie, who's not here today. Shout out to Rosie.
Yeah, she went full limbs.
full limbs, yeah.
So what limbs again, Glen?
Yeah,
He doesn't remember.
some millennial term.
Millennial. So good.
You'll be saying snowflakes, Nick. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I did a little video and put it out on Twitter. Got nearly 100,000 views on Twitter.
I did that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we used your piece for the actual YouTube piece as well. But yeah, absolutely. Bellerin, for me, is completely captaincy material. Hopefully he's got a long-term future at Arsenal. He's only 23, 24. Aubameyang, I love him. I think he's a really good player. I think he does lead in his own way on the pitch. Off the pitch, he's a bit of a character, but at the same time, he's not getting any scandals. He's not disgraced Arsenal on the pitch. But the only thing is, he hasn't signed his contract. What?
I don't know. Well, there's been mumblings and rumours that apparently a lot of the squad aren't happy that Aubameyang has these links.
Players are never happy. Are never happy if Arsenal don't. If your team's not winning. Win every game, no one will be saying a word.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
apparently not.
There's always
apparently
cliques
not happy with some of his social media activity, which is questionable. But
Well, it does always show.
but you've got to think about it this way: are the players running their social media?
Yes. I think a lot of these players are.
No,
I
disagree with that.
I
I think. You look at some of Mesut Ozil's social media activity lately, and I think that there's definitely. You've mentioned it. There's a team behind him.
He's got M10. Yeah, he's got his own company, so that works.
Yeah,
well.
but come on. I don't think a lot of the players in this modern age are doing it on their own.
I
There's
think
players in the
Aubameyang-
Championship
I
who've
think
got people
Aubameyang
doing their
Yeah,
social media.
there's definitely each
every
player
Premier
probably
League
has a
player.
management team behind them who are behind their social media activity.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can take. I mean, obviously.
Aubameyang's so scattergun with it. I don't think he does.
Especially when
He
it
had
comes
a
to
go
things
at the Dortmund
like.
chairman the other week.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to things like
Yeah.
transfer rumours of players like following someone on social media, all means they're going to join, blah blah blah. I think it's the management team going, well, we'll get a story out of this, we'll fuel that. You know?
That's quite a good point. Yeah.
Well, speaking of transfers and players on loan at the moment, El Neni played for Besiktas recently and played
How'd they
quite
get
well. They did well, but do you reckon he could actually come back?
No,
I think with Xhaka
never.
gone, he's a similar role of player to Xhaka,
I
isn't
can't
he?
believe of the lone player you're talking about him. and
Mohamed
Eddie
El
Nketiah.
Neni is a budget Amari Bischoff.
Do you not remember that goal he scored against Barcelona though? Absolute
I
screamer.
covered that game in the
You
Barcelona
did?
press box. I
I'd
thought he was brilliant.
score that from there.
Oh yeah.
He took it well, didn't he?
But-
He's done nothing
But
since,
obviously,
really.
we're loaning him out. There's no, you loan to return, don't you? Or do you go the Chelsea thing and just loan
Until
TK
you
money
got
from it?
TK Maxx.
So, but saying, do you think he's going to come back? And will he?
No.
Not in the slightest.
But he seems to like. He seems to
What are you on
like.
about?
cares about El Neni?
What are you on about?
Anyway, moving on.
Torreira can't get a game in that position, but you want El Neni?
No, I'm not saying I want him back. I'm saying why did they bother loaning him and not just selling him straight off?
That's what
No
they're
one
doing
wants
now.
to play.
No one wants to buy him.
That seems to be what clubs
But
do
we
now.
managed to
They-
sell Jenkins for $2 million.
that
To the
seems-
Championship.
An England international. Too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
we just give it. We're still got El Neni on the books. I don't understand it.
It seems
So
to just be a
you drive
thing
me
that you.
mental.
It seems to just be a thing that you loan a player out, freeze him out, make the fans forget about him, and then sell him on. That's what's going to happen with
Ozil will be
Mkhitaryan.
next.
Yeah, well, Mkhitaryan,
Who can we learn- learn
Sanchez
Ozil
from
to?
Man United. Seems to be just something they do.
Well,
Very
somewhere
bizarre.
in terms of loans. Osei Tutu, he was at Bochum, wasn't he? How did he get on it?
They drew 1-0.
They
Yeah.
drew.
He
okay.
played
He
for
started.
full
Yeah, started the game.
Yeah.
Played fairly well from what I've heard.
And then Ben
so.
Sheaf at Doncaster, how did he do?
Yeah.
Drew 1-0. I mean,
Right.
he's been playing week in, week out.
Yeah, he scored the other
scored a
week,
few
didn't
weeks
he?
Stephen
back.
his last
yeah.
season, wasn't it?
I mean,
Yeah, season before. Yeah, I interviewed
Oh,
him.
was
He's
he?
a really good
Yeah.
lad. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
concerningly,
I interviewed him after one of the under 23 games.
The under three?
The under 3s, yeah.
You've been tracking him for a long time.
Yeah. Been a
Keen
big
Arsenal
magnet for a long
Hale
time.
End
Yeah.
Academy
Got me
graduate.
future red. Yeah. One of after the under 23 games. I think they played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It was before the Napoli game actually. We went the
Okay,
day
yeah,
after,
yeah,
do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah. Blimey.
And he kind of spoke about his Arsenal future. He said, you know, I want to go out on loan, which he's obviously got, and then he doesn't know what's going to happen. I think he's in his final year of his contract,
Yeah.
so big year for him, obviously. He's got a
bottle.
bright future. So
Then he had his bottle.
So you woke up again.
But concerning
Whatever.
though, Eddie Nketiah still didn't play the last match either.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's
And
getting frozen out of league, isn't he?
But he was
I
playing
can't say that.
excellently well.
Yeah,
for Patrick
yeah.
Bamford.
Yeah.
I know. What's that say? Seriously,
Nketiah
yeah.
has scored the same amount
When
of
he
goals.
comes off the bench,
in
he's brilliant, isn't
Yeah.
he?
About 800 less minutes.
Yeah.
It's a strange one, that.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, to talk on a player that is at Arsenal at the minute, Mesut Ozil, obviously we had a lot of debates on the podcast the last few weeks
Glenn's
about
favourite player.
whether he
And
should
I've
come
been
back
totally
into the
right.
side. Hold on. Here we go. And Emery has swollen his pride in it, basically. We all basically said, a lot of us said, that we didn't think he'd play for Arsenal this season. We thought he'd either leave in January or the summer. But he's come back in. I think he's played the last couple of games, hasn't he? He's started the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Hooked to Liverpool.
Last
but-
He's
Three, I
not,
think,
and
yeah.
he's not made the difference, really, has he? I think Arsenal have looked a little better in attack, but
One of the greatest moments in an Arsenal shirt I've seen for ages
Yeah.
with the assist.
Yeah.
Come on, that was just brilliant. That was Bergkamp-esque.
but it hasn't. Arsenal aren't winning games.
Well, so you can't put that
No,
down.
no,
solely to
100%. But we thought it would make a big difference, and I don't think
Arguably, he's been our
I don't
best
think
player in the
Aubameyang's
last few
been more.
games.
Yeah, I agree.
Arguably, but he's not been. He's
Well,
not
not
been
arguably, yes.
bringing
No,
Aubameyang
but
to the
that-
game,
That's
has he?
why I get frustrated with Ozil, because even at that level, he's still not winning games for us.
Yeah, but what do you want him to do?
I want him to play at a level that his talent
We had one-
should be at, basically. Because he's brilliant,
Mate,
but why doesn't he play well every week?
What do you expect him to do if he's not being
I
given
want him to
the
take
ball?
games by the scruff of the neck and just go, do you know what, I won the World
You want him
Cup.
to run 50 yards back, tackle the man, win the ball, and then just go from there. If
Ideally,
he's not
yes.
being given-
Ideally, yes. That'd be great if he could do that. 350 grand a week, it's not too onerous,
When
is
it
it?
comes to Ozil, it should be this Superman figure that comes in.
Superman think it's a
Dribbles
midfielder.
round the
Is it
entire opposition
so
3 times.
outlandish
Yes.
to ask a
He's-
midfielder player to track
He,
back?
he, he,
occasionally?
he needs to
He has
save, he
been
needs to
tracking
save the
back.
shot, distribute it to himself, run 80 yards,
think-
play Aubameyang who scores. What do you want?
Vieira used to do that.
I think the Liverpool.
I'm leaving. I'm going.
The Liverpool performance really summed him up. I thought it
Yeah,
was
brilliant.
just watching him.
class.
Yeah,
Emery should never
watching-
taken him off, to be
Watching him is from the away. He just looked it was just really nice to see a player like that.
He's
It's just
purring that
you
game,
just
yeah,
rarely
yeah.
see a player that
Yeah.
looks so
And that's why
calm
that
on the
game
ball.
suited him.
And yet, like there was that moment for the penalty that was given away. He just like left the leg out really limply, and it was the reason the penalty was given. I
For
can't
what?
remember who
Yeah.
slid in.
For what?
But he
The
just
Liverpool
the
game.
balls in
It
the
was
end.
Martinelli, wasn't it?
No,
Ozil?
yeah, but he just left the leg, and and the ball then ran through, and Martinelli came sliding in.
I don't think you can blame Ozil.
No, you
What are
can't
you
blame him for
talking
that.
about?
No, you can't blame him for that. But it's just something I noticed, and it's just not good enough. It's just
Who
not
would
We
have
professional.
can't
had-
blame him for that. You
It
literally
was
just
a
blamed
limp
him.
leg.
You
No,
literally
not
just
blaming
blamed
him.
him.
No, in the lead up to the penalty,
Yeah.
he did that, and it obviously led to the penalty. But it was Martinelli's fault.
All right. If Aubameyang
But
does
that's
it,
poor.
if Aubameyang does that, do you,
You
notice
don't-
it?
you've rarely
do you know,
seen-
if Aubameyang does it, do you notice
You
it?
rarely notice that from Premier League players, where they so limp
whatever.
do something like that.
Oh, Toby, I'm not having that. Sorry, mate.
I think that's very, very harsh.
What did you think about Emery taking Ozil off after an hour at
I
Liverpool?
think it was agreed.
But why? No, I mean,
He-
like,
he
but
knew he was
why?
gonna play
Why
against
just
Wolves.
go? Actually, I'm going to think on my feet and go. Well, he's playing really well. I want him to keep
Could it have
playing.
been fitness?
Well, I
I
mean,
don't think
he
it was.
said-
They just agreed,
No,
didn't
no,
they? They just
no,
said, "Well, we
yeah,
can play for an hour."
he said
But
that
why-
afterwards, yeah,
You can
that-
rip up the document or the blueprint and just go,
Well,
"I'm
that's
going to keep him
Emery's
on."
choice, wasn't it? But we clearly tailed off as soon as he went off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
But yeah, by
we
proving
took
my
him off
point.
Yeah, but it was against Liverpool's second string.
Yeah. Well,
Third
yeah, but you
string,
say that we had
arguably.
a load of kids out. I'm still saying it was a full house at Anfield. You know, we had a 2-goal lead twice. I was out
It was
of the last
4-2 when we
4
took it off,
games.
wasn't
I
it?
mean,
Yeah.
I've
Was
given
it
up with
4-2
the
or
Premier
4-1?
League.
I can't remember.
No,
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 it
no,
was
it was
3-1.
4-2. It was 4-2.
Was it
3-1
4-2?
and
Yeah.
No, it was
4-2.
4-2, yeah.
Yeah, but it was 4-2 when he got subbed, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was,
okay.
yeah.
And then obviously
Yeah, I mean, we were
collapsed
there.
after that, yeah.
Just lost count, basically.
Oh,
But I
okay.
just want Ozil to do it every week. I want it. He's a brilliant player, but why can't he be at that level where he is absolutely influencing games?
But how's the rest of the team playing?
Yeah, exactly. He can't do it on his own. Name me a player, bar Messi and Ronaldo, who does it every single week.
Messi, Ronaldo.
Well, you just, what are you doing
But I'm
that
not
for?
saying that you have to be at that level, but you have to be at a level consummate with your talent. His talent is immense, and he never his performances never match the reality of his
I don't
talent.
think he's been bad enough in the last few games to really focus in on him for his.
He's been
No, I
Best
don't
player.
think he's a game. I'm just saying I want more from him. I just want more from
I
him.
want to
Look,
take a step
yeah,
back.
yeah,
I
Go
literally
on,
just said, the bar Messi and Ronaldo, who are at that level, do it every game. Name another player who does it. And you went, but I want him to be at that level. What do you want?
No,
from,
no,
what do
I
you
want him to be-
from him? If
I
he's
want
not
him-
being given the ball, what do you
But
expect?
you're just admitting that he's almost at that level in
No, I
terms of his
didn't.
talent.
No, I didn't.
Because his performances never equate to that. But why can't he be at a level that shows and showcases his absolute innate ability to be a creative midfielder? Because he never gets that level for me. And it's so frustrating because I want him to. and I don't understand the conundrum.
He does
Possibly the
play
way
best
we're
in a
setting
good team, doesn't he? He plays.
course.
But he
Yeah,
didn't play that well on the Wenger.
No,
Wenger
no,
gave him-
it's a similar criticism.
Wenger gave him free roll, and he still he wasn't at a level.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a similar criticism of Eden Hazard
I mean,
in
there
comparison
was,
with the other
the
top
season
players.
where he was at his best, he got 18 assists. I mean,
Yeah, and that's the level he should be at then.
what do you want him to do when he's playing in a system
Well,
where
it's a start.
attacking intensity?
But
and
also,
tempo-
I don't
assists.
think-
How many of them were
yeah.
corners? How many of them were just like lobs
Well,
in the
not
box?
many.
I'd be interested to find
do you
out.
know what? I'll go back
I
and watch
want
all
him
18
to
and I'll
play.
tell
I
you how
want him
many.
to play well. I really do.
Well,
but I
everyone
just find
does.
him really frustrating.
Like,
because-
I think he's a player you have to accept that isn't going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and completely change it when it's not going in the team's
Most
favour.
pundits-
When the team's going brilliantly, he is gonna rip into a team. He's
But he
gonna
doesn't
he's
even do
gonna
that
make it
sometimes.
Well,
6-0.
exactly. That's going back to what me and Dan were saying about how the rest of the team perform in the tactics.
Yeah.
But it's inarguable. He has been our most productive player in the last 3 games. The Wolves game, he started off really well. Then he had to start dropping deep. He was taking it upon himself to drop deeper and deeper and deeper to go and collect the ball, while our back central defenders and our 2 midfielders are like faffing around, passing it across our own box.
Arsenal
It
didn't
was
score
him.
against Leicester though.
Hey,
Arsenal didn't score against Leicester though.
they didn't score against
Okay.
Leicester. Well, you know.
Okay, well, hang on.
We
What,
scored one at home against
I know,
Bournemouth
yeah.
without
what
him
is
in the
Mesut
team.
Ozil known for?
We scored
What-
one away to
what is
Newcastle.
Mesut Ozil most renowned for doing?
Providing.
Exactly. So if he's not getting the ball, how's he going to give it to someone else to score?
In terms of formation, I think the best formation, or the formation that get the best out of Mesut Ozil, is a 4-3-1-2, where you've got 2 up top, and he's the creative player behind them. Basically, when you've got 2
Rejection.
Why? Where would you play him?
Dan
Because
says no.
he needs wide players to allow him to, so they can go as wide as they can to allow him space in the middle. Because then you drag everyone over.
But you've got 2 or 3 defensive
so then
midfielders behind him.
yeah, so then everyone is in the middle. So what space is he going to have? You need wide players to go wide.
The
and
space
allow
is
him
between the
space.
lines.
I'll tell
He
you
plays
something.
so well between the lines.
Okay.
And if you're the player in front of, or behind the front 2, but ahead of more defensive-minded midfielders who could do all the dirty work for you,
Yeah.
you've got a massive radius where you can
Okay.
run between players, basically.
Well, then
and
any-
I think he can really do well there, but he never.
Hold on, Glenn.
Okay.
Emery
Hold
doesn't,
on, hold on,
Emery
Glenn.
doesn't
What were
really
you gonna
pick
say?
him in that position.
Okay, right. I just find there's this sort of like selective process with Ozil. It's great. He's the whipping boy. We can always call him out. You say, "Oh, we didn't score against Leicester." Fans' favourite, Lacazette. What has he done in the last few
2
games?
goals in 20 games.
Yeah. What has he done? And why is he so? Why is he the golden boy?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we were saying that he was going to make a big difference, and he hasn't.
He
Ozil.
ain't.
Well, he's rusty still. I think that was. I mean, the
So,
chance-
Sonyuku played well on Saturday,
Yeah,
didn't he?
I
To look
did.
after
Yeah,
him.
but the chance he had against Leicester for about 8 yards, he should have scored. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, but that's the Leicester centre half.
that's
Sonyuku
his
really
job.
looked
Oh,
after
He's
him.
not.
didn't
He's
he?
Yeah.
one that
He should be
Arsenal
putting
lucked at and decided to go with David Luiz
Well,
instead.
they've
so,
done
I
that with
mean,
a lot of players.
Just
haven't
looking at the Ozil on the front line, obviously Ozil linked up really well with Alexis Sanchez, but if you,
they? Bring Sanchez back.
Oh yeah, get Sanchez.
Yeah.
back.
Let's have
Get
McSherry
Giroud back as well.
if
Go
you
on.
What's he up to these days?
looking at Aubameyang and Lacazette, I can't really see a brilliant partnership with Ozil on either of them. I don't know.
But that's
if
where
there's a
I'd have him as
future-
the creative midfielder
Well, he won't play
behind
But
the
I
front
don't know if
two.
there's a
Yeah,
brilliant
but Layth-
partnership there.
Like you keep saying this about 4-3-1-2. Yeah, I mean, obviously Arsenal didn't play that formation.
We
on
played it in
Saturday.
the last season.
Yeah,
In various games, and they did it.
When
they
did it-
they
like
did-
what? Like what game
I'm
was
sure they
Spurs
played it at Valencia, the 4-2, and I'm sure they did it at the
Don't think
2-1
so.
or the 3-1 as well.
But anyway,
Have a look on transfer
well,
marks.
I will, mate. Okay.
Seriously.
But any logical manager in that situation, if you think Arsenal are going to play 4-3-1-2 with Ozil further ahead, you just drop a hold a midfielder on him and mark him out of the game. I mean, that's what obviously Ozil didn't play that formation on Saturday. That's what Ndidi did, didn't he?
But that's when you
Mark
get
him out
one
of
of
the
your,
game.
yeah, absolutely, and I love Ndidi, and he really did do that as well. But that's where you get one of your defensive-minded midfielders to almost act as his bodyguard and as some sort of shield to block the
Okay,
defence.
so you want a defensive midfielder playing further forward as a number 10. Lucas Torreira's your man. I've heard he's quite good there.
No, he's rubbish to be fair at that level. No, but honestly, Ozil needs space. He needs space to be creative. You
He
play
creates his
him
own
behind the front 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you play him behind the front 2. He is almost like going to be a quarterback. He can see a lot of things going on, basically.
You've never watched American football. A quarterback
Do you know
is
what?
by the name is right where the back
I did
plays.
work experience at the Wembley Observer in 1987. I was on the pitch at
Keep telling me,
Wembley.
you were carrying pavements.
I carried the Wembley Observer newspapers.
I've heard
and,
this
and,
one.
and what's his
Yeah.
name? Builder Fridge Perry or whatever he was. He was there,
William
and he
Perry.
literally
What?
William Perry. He was the hugest bloke,
The
and I
refrigerator.
got a photo of him carrying me basically, and I've got all these Wembley
He must
Observer
been
as a
massive, to be
14-year-old
fair.
work. Yeah, he was. Yeah, the problem was lifting me. But yeah, no. So
I'm going to transition the conversation away from
Anyway,
this.
yeah. Anyway.
Ceballos is supposed to be a link between the defence and Ozil. If we're saying that Ozil isn't getting fed the ball enough, Ceballos come in, there's a lot of hype. Obviously, the Burnley game, he was absolutely incredible. That was really exciting to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
So
since
that's a long
then,
time ago now,
he's
isn't it?
just looked really.
The day we beat
Yeah,
Burnley
we were
2-1,
unbeaten. We were
Yeah.
unbeaten after that game.
Do you remember the day we beat Burnley 2-1?
Yeah.
Top class, Emirates, mate. We were quality.
I mean,
Those
that's
were days.
Ceballos, love him.
That's a wider point. What has happened this season? You know,
Wait.
such a positivity around Ceballos,
The Emery
the
effect.
young
He's been
players.
put on the left wing.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's the lack of confidence in the team at the moment, in themselves and their managing ability. And I think it's just sort of sapped all confidence and energy that we had at the start of the season. I think come January, once we have a bit more time off and a new manager, most likely.
Oh.
Things will change.
So let's have
Drop the new manager bombshell in there.
Let's have a chat about the new manager then. So obviously, there's a few options. Obviously, there's managers that are in a job currently. Eddie Howe's been talked about. He's always talked about for English jobs.
Eddie Howe.
But what do you think about Thomas Tuchel? He's obviously
Where was he? PSG.
he's probably not going to last very long at PSG.
But we didn't do well with the
Emery,
last
isn't
manager.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to
Yeah,
say.
we don't want to go there again.
PSG.
Just stay well clear of PSG.
Another one that's going to make you groan, probably.
If you say Mourinho, I'm going to punch you.
No. We've done a video on Mourinho down, which you can check in.
In a random field.
In a random
somewhere
field.
here.
With a post-nuclear attack dystopian.
Chernobyl's over the horizon.
You can click on that video somewhere here.
Somewhere.
But we had a comment under, I think, that video saying Wenger should come in as caretaker manager.
Oh my
Do
god.
me a favour.
Who knows? I'm not even going to name names.
Go on.
Did someone actually say that?
Yes, yeah.
I'd never read the comments because that is the sort of reason why I don't read
Do you
the
know
comments.
what? I've always been Wenger in.
basically. So what? Not even a permanent job then, just like a temporary job.
no,
to,
he knows-
to say he's a shit for Freddie
He
or
knows
something.
the club.
He knows the club.
He knows
What do
the
you reckon,
club.
Ben?
Well,
What do you reckon, Glenn?
Sorry,
Wenger back
you
in?
know the club.
Yeah.
This is a man who boycotted the 2018 League Cup final because he just had enough of Wenger, basically.
I did,
2018.
Isn't that where you got
the
your
City game was
nickname
at
from
17.
Glen?
Of course, yeah, no, of course.
Is
Sorry.
Wenger not where you got your nickname of Grumpy Glen?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was sitting in cars coming back from
Wenger games.
ranting in the
Wenger
front.
So you wouldn't have Wenger back then, Glenn?
Very different colours to the ones we go in.
Yeah, what are we talking about going up to Liverpool?
Yeah,
The
we'll
cheapest
leave-
pair of
mate,
trainers you
we'll-
ever bought.
We leave that one.
That comment they did say about whether what he would have done with this squad, because obviously it's a lot
He
better.
would have done exactly the same
defense
as
is a lot
Emery.
better.
This is
Oh,
as,
I just
as
wondered.
bad as his last year.
I was just wondering.
Well, you would have started Ozil every game.
You make my head hurt.
That is just so mad to even think about someone saying Wenger come back to Arsenal.
The most impressive thing about Emery, it just seems like a continuum of the last 5 years under
Yeah.
Wenger.
Yeah.
But at least we played attacking football under
So
Wenger.
what
No, he
ti-
didn't know the last few years.
What
Well, I mean, it was still better than Emery.
what type of manager
Otherwise it was
search do you
Wenger
think
than
needs to
Emery.
come in at Arsenal? What style?
Style-wise, well, we need one that sticks to the same formation and squad every week, so that actually they
Principles,
know
yeah.
how to play with each other. Because if you play a different formation every week, you're not going to really know what you're doing. You're always going to get confused. And we need a manager that knows how to play sort of from the back properly. Because obviously we can't do it. So bring a manager in that could teach him how to do it.
I'd like
Teach
somebody
Emery.
who knows the Premier League.
Who would you have?
Well, there was a lot of sniffiness about Rodgers, wasn't there?
Did you watch Being Liverpool though? That documentary?
Yeah, I know.
He was
I
proper
saw
David
that.
Brent.
Okay, I get my
What was it? The three envelopes, and there was like someone's name in there that was
He is-
going to be bad. or
That's all right.
something.
We're getting to see Tottenham all or nothing soon.
Yeah, I can't wait for that actually. To be fair.
You know more than me, but apparently allegedly they were very close to an appointment, and then
If it was that close.
it went
No, I
viral.
don't think it
They're
was that
disgusting.
close.
They discussed a lot
It was
about
one of the many options.
So do you think Rodgers would be a good or a candidate that could be in the frame then?
I just think Emery's not a Premier League manager.
No, I
doesn't
agree.
know enough about it. He's not equipped to set
He
up
will
against
probably
others,
go
is
to
he?
La Liga and do really
Yeah,
well.
he's so
Yeah, and he's
frustrating
done
though,
well
isn't
for
it? The
Seville,
way he's
isn't he?
turned that around and the way Lampard has come in and pretty much hit the ground running after a slightly sort of like
Yeah.
rocky start.
Yeah. Why is that then? Why do you think that is? Just because he
Well,
knows the club?
After
'Cause
20 years of having 40 players on loan, they've finally decided to actually let them play.
Yeah.
And it's actually worked out quite well
You
for
know,
them.
we've
Yeah,
got a good
it's
young
surprising.
squad as well. We've got a
I
lot
mean,
of talent there.
to play devil's advocate, because I'm not sure I agree with this, but at the same time, people have said on Twitter and stuff, Emery one of his only strengths is the fact that he has allowed young players to
Yeah,
make
fair play.
blood them in the team. Is that? Would you?
Feels like
is that
they're
a valid
regressing
point?
now.
Yeah, that is a valid point.
Yeah.
Feels like Saka and Willock are almost their confidence being
Saka
shot.
needs a break, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Seriously,
both of
right.
them. Willock really looks like he does as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dan, I know you've been thinking a lot about sort of what happens next
Yeah.
with Arsenal. What's your sort of thoughts?
Well,
on
I've
this?
basically today I've been thinking for a couple of hours on a plan of action. All right.
Dan's dossier.
Yeah.
Sitting in
A
the
point down the man Mountney.
Hey,
is
Raoul, I'm coming to see you soon.
shadow, in the shadow of the Emirates, reading through your dossier.
Yeah, of course. So
Straight in the
basically,
press box.
my plan of action would be
Need to
this.
hear
Let's see what you think. So, the next 4 games, you've got Southampton, Norwich, Brighton, West Ham.
Yeah.
Give Emery 4 games. If he doesn't take 9 points from that, give him the chop.
Okay.
9
Okay.
games in. 9 points for
9 points for the
games.
4 games, yeah. So
What if
win
he took
3.
8 points or 7 points? Just give
Nah,
it.
give him the chop.
What if he won his
I'm
last
being
two?
ruthless. Give
What
him
if
the
he
chop.
won his last 2 but lost the first 2? Would you still just go?
Give him the chop. Give him the chop.
Yeah.
Don't care.
How many pages was that in the dossier?
That's 1. That's simple. That's in like
That's
type.
the only paragraph.
That's in like type 48 font. Right, that's easy. That's first page. Right. You
9 points.
Go
9
to
points, 4
titles, Emma,
games.
from
No,
Dan.
nine points or you're gone. You can chuck that first page. Right. Second page. You appoint Luis Enrique.
How many pages in this document?
There's not that many. It's not going to go on that
There
long.
are any pictures in
It's
it?
shorter than his notes.
It's probably about 6 pages max. All type 48.
Is it
font.
ring binder or is it a sort
Right,
of?
yeah, go on.
You can staple it for you want, but I don't care.
So
Luis
Luis Enrique.
Enrique.
Luis Enrique, purely for the reason, because there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, he played the style that Arsenal need. He played counter-attacking football. You look at when he first came to Barcelona. Yes, I know it's different quality of players, but he switched from trying to play it out from the back, passing it around, to counter-attacking football because he looked at the squad and he thought, do you know what? These are the players I've got: Suarez, Neymar, Messi. Yes. Different quality, I know, but you look at the Premier League and Arsenal have 3 of the best attackers in the league, in my opinion: Lacazette, Pepe, and Aubameyang, who were blessed with pace and like to play on the counter attack. So Enrique, for me, would come in, switched it to that style. Yeah, we're still following.
Still
Well,
got-
my
what
only
page is it?
my-
Have we turned the page yet?
We're still on page 2. We're still on page
Right,
2,
okay.
Luis Enrique.
Dan, just my argument against Luis Enrique. Obviously, recently we've seen from Barcelona, Messi didn't start the season, or he's been out absent recently, and he came back in, and it just made such a massive difference.
Yeah.
And I think Barcelona, pretty much any boss is gonna thrive with Messi in the
Okay,
team.
I understand that.
That's what I'm saying.
Hence why I mentioned the difference in quality. But
Unless
I'm
you're
talking
about to say Ozil is Messi.
yes. I'm talking.
That's page 2.
I'm talking. Yeah.
We're still on
yeah.
page 2.
No, it's purely
Point for page
on
three.
style basis, but also
Yep,
with
yep.
Enrique, he's not a project manager. And when I say project manager, I mean someone who's going to need a 5-year plan essentially to build their squad and kind of put in what they want into action.
Yep.
He's someone who I think would make an immediate impact. He's got management experience at the top level, both club and international. Class manager for me. Okay, so you give the job to him essentially, and then. But you, as Arsenal, you've immediately got to start planning for the long term. So you've got to draw up a list of 5 managers, and they've got to be people who are project managers. Someone like Eddie Howe, who we've seen take Bournemouth from League 1, League 2, wherever they were, to the Premier League, who have built something themselves. Someone like him, someone like Diego Simeone, who took Atletico from contenders to winning the Spanish League to contesting with Barcelona, Real Madrid. Someone like him who's going to build a project. You've got to draw up that list and you've got to monitor them and you've got to keep possibly speaking to them, saying, we're interested in you, we want this, we want that, we want you to be in charge for however many years, and you've got to give them that chance. You've got to give Enrique that time to the end of the season, look at how he does. If he gets into the top 4 and he takes them all the way in the Europa League, you've got to say, maybe he's done well here. We should maybe speak to him about what he plans for the future, who he wants to bring in, who he wants to get rid of, what style he wants to play, and then look at him and the list of 5 managers you've got. Because with the Arsenal squad, you've got a plan.
I'm actually quite interested in this. Glenn's about to fall asleep.
Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate your vote of confidence.
It's a long weekend. I'm hooked. Carry on.
You've got to plan long term with the Arsenal squad. You've got so many promising youngsters in terms of the players who've come through Hale End, which is obviously doing really well at the moment for me, or the players you brought in like Saliba, like Martinelli. It's going to be a long-term project. We have to have patience.
Would you give Enrique money in January then?
No.
No,
I wouldn't give him
so-
anything.
so-
I wouldn't give him a packet of hobnobs, let alone money in
No,
January.
Enrique, not Emery.
Oh, Enrique?
Yeah. If you appointed him after...
I'd maybe give... obviously, Arsenal want a bit of purse string budget at the moment, being on a Champions League wage and a Europa League
squad's
budget.
good enough.
But I agree with you
So-
on that.
so-
The squad is good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, they still need a centre half. So if
Yeah,
Emery
I
wasn't
think-
sacked, would you
kind
let
of.
Emery spend some more money in January?
Emery or Enrique?
Emery.
Emery?
Yeah, Emery.
No, I wouldn't give him anything.
no.
Right.
I wouldn't give him my time of day, let alone money.
But what about strengthening? We need a centre half.
Do you know what? This whole thing about, they only had 8 million to spend on David Luiz. I'm sorry, if you go to the Arsenal board and say, I want 30 million, 40 million to buy a centre back, they might give it to you. But
they did. They bought one, but he's still playing for St Etienne.
Okay, well then Emery has to have the balls to go and say to the board, yeah, you're playing for the long term, but I want to do something now. I want a 40 million quality centre half. He's got to have the balls to say to him, we're doing something now. But
So you're
just
saying
to
basically
just to buy
sack
David
Emery
Luiz
and then bring in Luis Enrique
Yes.
to the end of the season,
Yes.
while monitoring
Yes.
a beauty contest of 3 or 4 or 5 other managers
beauty
around.
contest,
Well,
wow.
just to say who does best at the end of the season. If I get your
right. So
reckoning, and then
on my list of 5, I can give you 3.
Go on then.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you Eddie Howe, which
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan
I'm
of.
a big fan of Eddie Howe.
I'll give you Eric Ten Hag, I know we mentioned at Ajax.
Yeah,
I
did they
mean,
lose 4-1 the other day, Ajax? Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah,
Whatever.
Go on.
I think he'd introduced a style of football that Arsenal want, attractive football, attacking football. Maybe not strong defensively, but I think we all want to see Arsenal play attacking football that's exciting.
I want a strong defence.
Okay, well then
watching
here's
George
your
Graham.
third man, who'd probably be top of my list, Diego Simeone.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love
Okay,
him.
and then maybe 2 more. I'd say someone like Lucien Favre at Borussia Dortmund. Big fan of his. Don't know what you guys think about that, but whoever you want to stick on your list, you can have 2 each.
Thomas
just
Tuchel.
But
particularly-
I'd put together a list of 5 to say long term, and then let them say this is what we want to do, this is who we want to sign, blah blah blah. I'm not a fan of presentations. I know when Emery gave one.
I don't
Just
understand how he
just
did well in
on-
that presentation. Like,
Just on-
what did Kroenke think? What did Kroenke?
Transitions.
Hey,
What did they
I
think
bet-
about his PowerPoint presentation in America when he went over there? I
He
have
was
no idea how he got
sucked
the
in.
job.
He was sucked in at Good Evening.
Yeah, seriously.
But on Howe and also Simeone, do you not think? I mean, this appointment is massive for us. It's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Every
appointment.
appointment's
massive, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
obviously, but also how comparing to Sir Alex Ferguson leaving Man United. Obviously, Moyes is important.
You don't want to
appointment,
go
they
into
got
that.
wrong, but also
They got Van Gaal wrong as
Van
well,
Gaal
didn't
was
they?
also wrong. Although I don't know if you could be given more time.
No, he was wrong.
No, he was
I
wrong.
don't know.
He was the worst one by far.
Yeah, he was dreadful.
It
He
wasn't
absolutely
Jose.
awful. I was at the game when didn't he fall over or something when they missed something
did it
going
on
on?
And how is
Yeah,
that
I
relevant?
was at the press box and I was like, what's he doing?
Oh yeah, that was
Seriously.
good. Yeah.
Laughable.
But do you think Arsenal need a proven Premier League manager now?
No,
Really?
no.
They need a manager
Because
who can
I
organise
think, and I
things,
think Eddie,
don't they?
my argument against Eddie Howe is that he's used to being an underdog manager.
Look at it this
I think
way.
it's very different being at a top 6 club.
Okay, so you want a proven Premier League manager?
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, was he proven in the Premier League?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with
Jurgen
that. Yeah.
Klopp, was he proven in the Premier
Yeah.
League? When Jose Mourinho
I think
first
Ten
came,
Hag might be a very good
When Jose Mourinho was
appointment.
he first proven in the Premier League? No. When Arsene Wenger first came, was he proven in the Premier League? No. The
I
list
believe
goes on.
we-
You don't need. I'm not a fan of this proven in the Premier
Yeah,
League
yeah.
because it's nonsense to me. Okay, there's so many top managers who've gone to so many leagues, the Premier League included,
Yeah.
who have not had any experience in that league and just dominated, done really well, won league titles, gone on to win cups in Europe, whatever.
It's
I'm
very
not
hard
a
to
fan
predict,
of
isn't
this.
it? Yeah, it's hard to predict,
And
obviously, because
yeah.
it's a stab in the dark. But also on Simeone, are you worried that there might be the similar language barrier issues? Because I don't think he speaks English
No.
now, does he?
Yeah, but I've been in the presser for the semi-final when he was at the Emirates and obviously in Madrid as well, in the semi-final, and he just had an interpreter. If in terms of there was someone interpreting what he said in English through the sort of headphones and stuff. So
He's a very
you can
forceful
just get around
character,
that.
isn't he?
Emery
He's-
doesn't do that for some
He's
reason.
someone.
and
He's
it's a
someone who
difference.
inspires you. Every
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
watch, obviously you've been first hand with him, but every time I kind of watch one on Twitter, or whatever, and I see him, he's just someone who inspires me. you
Yeah,
know?
I remember walking into that press conference.
He's a real bullish character,
Yeah,
isn't he?
well, and also
He's
he's got
firm
a
in
real
his
he's got a real
decisions.
charisma about him because he walks in with this black suit. He looks like a mafia
Slick
hitman.
back hair,
Slick back
yeah.
hair. He looks hard. He looks like a real tough character.
He'd duff you
and
up,
his
wouldn't he?
team,
Duff you up.
he'd duff me up definitely. But honestly, and his teams are like that. They're so tough
They're just
and hard
drilled.
and drilled defensively.
I mean, I mentioned it
Absolutely.
earlier.
Yeah.
You just drill a team to be
Yeah.
here, be there.
I'd actually quite.
defend.
I'd like Simeone as manager.
Well, there you go,
thinking about
sorted.
it.
There you go.
Yeah, let's just have
But he was-
Simeone.
he was-
It's so hard to predict when you come from a different league, though,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But he was also tipped up when Wenger left the first time.
I know.
And then
Yeah, but they
nothing
made the
happened
wrong
there.
call. They made the
Yeah,
wrong call. It's
yeah.
clear and simple. They made the wrong
Was
call.
it their wrong call, or did he just not want to do it?
Money talks. He
Yeah,
got
but
a lot more money.
Serge,
last than
do
he
you
would
know
have
that they
at
spoke to him
Madrid.
directly or sounded him out, or was he on a list that they thought we could have him, but we're not going to speak to him?
It was Emery's PowerPoint that won it.
Do you know
It's
what?
shocking.
I want to see that PowerPoint.
I know. I said it
want to
20
see
other
that
days.
PowerPoint.
Has anyone got the PowerPoint that Emery sent to the Cronkies, basically?
Good evening.
Honestly, I'd love to see
Some-
that.
Cronkies or the
Sometimes it
The
is hard.
Cronkies, yeah.
Cronkies.
Seriously, might as well have done.
It is hard to tell with those managers because I don't think, obviously Klopp coming over, we all knew he was a good manager, but I don't think anybody
No, I
could have
wanted him.
predicted
I
that he was.
wanted
Oh
Klopp.
no, 100% you would have
They
wanted
missed
it,
the boat, didn't
but
they?
nobody saw
I
it
think-
being
I
as
think-
good as this.
Guardiola as well, though.
I think you
We
could have
had him.
comfortably predicted
Should have
it.
had him.
Really?
I
Alright,
think
okay.
Klopp looked a good manager, and I don't think there's any surprise that he's
A
taken
good
a
manager,
team.
but he's
I don't
turned
think
Liverpool
there's-
into
I don't think
something.
there's any-
2013
But
Champions
he
League
had an
final.
idea
Yeah,
of
there's
what
no
he wanted to
surprise
do.
that he
Yeah.
took a
It
good
took him a
team
little bit of
better.
time.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's not a surprise at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it this way. All right, we'll go around. Obviously, I'm all in the Simeone camp. We'll give one name each and a short reason why who you'd want. Toby.
I don't have a name. I mean,
Pass.
We can come back to you,
Yeah.
Serge.
Someone like Allegri. I mean, I liked it when we first looked at him before Emery, but
He was in the frame, wasn't he?
it was in the
Yeah,
frame
he
for a
was
while.
very much in the frame.
And I think it's quite hard to work out. But I think maybe Ten Hag, I think, would actually be
Okay.
Yeah.
probably my sort of favourite to look
Yeah.
at.
I, mean, I like Eddie Howe as an English or a British homegrown manager who could potentially be in the frame. I think he's a progressive manager. I think he's done wonders on a shoestring budget at Bournemouth. He gets players playing. He's got a clear, coherent strategy. He's just a really, really articulate communicator as well. I think he'd do really well at Arsenal. Obviously, the lack of experience in terms of the top flight, top level of English football would hold it against him. But at the same time, why not be bold about an appointment? But having said that, Simeone ticks a lot of boxes for me as well.
You mentioned it, how you've got to get experience from somewhere.
Yeah,
Everyone's
exactly.
got
Yeah,
to start
Pep
at some
Guardiola
point,
was at
so,
Barcelona
exactly.
B. Yeah.
Glenn.
I would probably go with a sort of like slightly more youthful manager
Okay.
who knows the club, and I would go for
Freddie.
Arteta.
Okay,
Ooh.
fair enough. I'll take
Why?
it. Okay.
Why though?
Because the report, well, for a start, Raheem Sterling puts 90% of his improvement down to Arteta on the training pitch. Apparently, it's not just Guardiola.
So he's a good coach.
Arteta's
Yeah,
apparently
it's
a superb
very
coach.
different coaching.
I've interviewed him
kind
one
of
to one at
akin to
London
the
Colony,
Lampard
and he
thing.
does talk so well. Actually,
Yeah,
Arteta,
it's
so-
great. I mean, I loved him at Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree.
It would probably be a risk, but I think maybe we should go down that line. Somebody who's got an Arsenal background, knows the club. Possibly looking back, we missed the boat, not doing it then.
Yeah. Toby.
I do think Allegri actually would be good because he is established and he's got clear ideas and he would come in and implement them
Questionable
immediately.
politics, though.
I completely, no, 100% I agree
Honestly, I
with
wouldn't
that.
have asked him.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, I mean,
I
after
don't know
what
about that.
he's
What's
after
that? I
what
don't
he
know about
said
that.
following the Moise Keane
Exactly,
racism
yeah.
incident,
He
then
didn't step up at all.
no,
And if that ever happened in England, you want your manager to go.
That's
actually,
not acceptable
that's
what he
not
said.
acceptable.
Yeah,
I
that's
did-
the
I
one
did-
thing that
yeah.
puts me off about him, and I
Yeah.
completely agree with you on
Oh,
that.
but I didn't hear about that.
No,
Actually.
no,
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough, fair
yeah.
enough.
Well, there you go. You've got 4 managers there, which,
Yeah.
which proves my point. So
Over
basically,
to you, Ralph.
that is
Yeah.
the dossier closed.
How many pages was that?
Get
by the
on with
way?
it. And that was at least 6 pages of 48
Was there an
48 point
was there-
Calibri on Microsoft Word.
Was there an
Sorted.
index as well?
I've not even referenced it, Layth. There you go, mate.
Very
Take your
excellent.
chance.
Enjoy that, Dan. Glenn, I believe we have some notes from you to go on.
We haven't seen notes yet.
We- we
Get the
have-
notes
we have-
out.
we
yeah.
have
Get the
Glenn's
scroll
notes.
out.
We've probably covered it all.
Oh, look, he's-
Certainly all the.
He's
I
typed it. He's not even written it. He's typed it.
I only typed it because the last time I wrote it, I couldn't read my own writing.
Here comes
because you were
Slow
drunk.
news.
Here comes
day at
Glenn's
work.
dossier.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. Never mind your
Bigger than
dossier.
your dossier.
Glenn's two pages
God.
of folded up
Seriously.
dossier. You've not even ring by it.
Once upon a time.
Done all
What?
that. Done all that. No, it's just bits and bobs. All right, yeah, a couple of things. Stadium announcer at the last game.
Oh my god.
The scorer, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Get out of it. It's not WWF.
I actually know him, and he's a really good guy. Follow him
Yeah,
on
I'm
Twitter.
sure
He's
he
a
is,
lovely
but
guy. So.
Get out of town. I don't want to hear that. Just put his name up on the screen.
You're such a curmudgeon.
I kind of agree though.
Yeah. Secondly, I'm in the unfortunate position.
Moving on.
The seat next to me in the stadium is obviously. So I'll call it the tourist seat. There's never the same person there.
That's because no one wants to sit next to you.
Oh yeah. Funny enough, my mate Paul didn't give his season ticket up. He used to be in.
Oh man.
But yeah, it is the tourist
Who
track.
did you have against Wolves then? What was the latest
Well,
one?
I had an American woman who did not shut up for 90 minutes, sure you were very nice, but she could just chat. Oh, we kind of spent last night goofing around, and have you been to Hoxton? Apparently, there's really great bars there. And I'm like, yeah, can you have a football match over there?
Who else have you had this season? I need to hear more
Before that, I
about
had a Japanese tourist who had not one but 2 phones out.
Selfie sticks.
You've got to get both angles. Come on.
He had his bag from the armory, which he was just
What was in
rusting
it? What do you reckon
Do you
he
know
bought?
what? I am not
A
lying.
new Emery bobblehead.
It was a small Gunnosaurus.
Yeah!
That nearly ended up. But he was rummaging in the bag, elbowing me and stuff. It was just really, really
Give us
annoying.
another choice to
2
pick
phones.
this season.
Oh, it's just an endless parade.
Football was better in the 80s.
Do you know
wasn't
what?
it?
Do you know what?
All wearing the numpty hats, of course.
Give Gunnosaurus the job. That's the conclusion.
What, sitting next to Glen?
Get Glen as assistant manager. Glen and Gunnosaurus. There you go.
Who's actually the worst person who's ever sat next to you at Arsenal then?
Layth
I've got
Yousif.
to say, the guy at the previous home game, before the Wolves game, with the 2 phones was really. It was sort of like everyone was commenting.
Were you tutting
I
loudly?
was sat there in a
Disgusted
t-shirt
you
and
were.
it was freezing. And then someone said, "Are you
How
not
high
cold?"
were your arms folded?
Round his neck.
The bloke behind me said, "Are you not cold, mate?" I said, "No, the heat from these 2 phones are keeping me warm."
Football was better in the 80s, wasn't it, Glenn?
Bring back safe standing.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's
What else is on your
More on the
dossier?
dossier. Come on.
always
Got
worth
Glen's
delving
dossier.
Your folded dossier.
Glenn's notes.
Covered most of the subjects, I think.
Anything
that's
else?
all
What's
the
on
Emery
page 2?
stuff.
What's on
Yeah,
page
yeah.
2?
We haven't. Oh, it's
American
page 3.
tourists, oh yeah, VAR.
Go on, give us a roundabout VAR.
Oh boy.
Well, I just thought it was amusing. Not amusing, infuriating actually.
Always get those 2 confused.
Easily confused.
Spurs Sheffield United, they found, and this is I don't care, it stinks. I think the fix is in. They spent nearly 4 minutes finding some way to disallow that Sheffield United goal.
The lunchroom, yeah.
The handball at Anfield. Oh, it's Liverpool, it's City, it's a big game. We're not going to make a decision. A cursory 10 seconds, not even to reach a decision on that. You know?
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, now you've got players and pundits saying kick it out.
Yeah.
Where are all the apologists? Where are all the advocates? They've all disappeared. Back under their stone.
I've been watching some European games, and they literally immediately go over to the monitor if they feel like it's.
We're
You
not
know what?
using it
No,
properly,
hang
that's
on.
the
You mentioned European games. I've got something quite
else you got?
interesting to say here.
I've ranted so much. I've got acid
Oh,
reflux.
okay.
I need to say it ready.
So,
That's the line of the night.
I've got acid reflux, and with that, the podcast is over.
On a net bombshell.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wesley Rennie.
I'm surprised you're doing a Jeremy Clarkson.
So, obviously,
That's our headline.
well, acid reflux. All right, okay.
Good band.
After all we've
Didn't like the
discussed,
second
we're going
album.
with acid
This
reflux.
has
lovely.
once again degenerated. Okay, let's carry on.
You mentioned about VAR being used in European
Postcode
countries.
industrial melt.
Alex Kirkland, who produces a Spanish football podcast
Yeah,
with Sid Lowe
yeah,
and Phil
yeah,
Kitchen Bleeders.
Top guy.
Spoken to him a few times, and he tweeted something the other day about obviously they use VAR in Spain, and apparently, so you know they're meant to go over to the screen and look at the decision
Yeah.
themselves. Apparently, in Spain, where they've gone over and looked at the screen, the signal between the screen and whoever's in the VAR room just hasn't worked.
Oh, really?
So the referee's been looking at the screen, and there's been nothing there to
No
look
Really?
at. Yeah.
So what, has he been blagging it or just gone?
The referees have been blagging it.
Really?
Seriously.
He's still done better than the English counterparts.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
true. Yeah.
Did you hear what happened in Saudi Arabia? Someone unplugged it to plug their phone in.
No, really.
That'd be Layth.
And it was,
I've got to stop
it was
doing
down
this.
until they realised they had to plug it back in.
Player got sent off and booted it as he went off, didn't he? I'm all for
Oh, was
that.
it? It was San Etienne, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think we can all agree with Charlie Austin's views on VAR.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
His high-pitched views.
What else you got there, Glenn? You must have
God,
something
these
else.
notes
No,
are
he's
something
gone-
important.
I know, yeah.
We're scrabbling for
Glenn's
content.
dossier.
Seriously, they're just.
That's your title, Glenn's dossier.
I normally
Glenn's
have
acid
have
reflux.
half hour lunch. We've got our lunch, so I typed it up.
Far too much time in rain.
Oh, the only other thing, I thought we were going to talk about the Wolves goal and who was at fault. I just put Ceballos
Yes,
moved
yes.
like a slug on Mogadon.
Slug on
Honestly,
Tracking that throw in, but apart
so you put a lot of thought into that.
He was
What's
having
the
a
last one?
He was having a
four
siesta,
players
wasn't
stood
he?
like statue for the Leicester goal.
Any particular statues?
I don't know. Sort of
Trafalgar.
like statue of the Beatles at Albert Dock. No, it was though, wasn't it? Who came? Was it Ndidi who came in? Just 4 of them. I saw that on Match of the Day at normal pace. Straight away I went, why there's 4 yellow shirts just stood there? Waving me as he
Unai
waving
Emery's
to them.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
So that is it. That is the notes. I'm sorry. All finished.
Well, when Glen's notes end, I think it's
Exactly.
time to end the
Podcast
podcast.
ends, doesn't it?
That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we finish the podcast these days. Thank you very much for watching. Everything we've talked about, please give your thoughts in the comments. We really like reading your comments, and I've started responding to quite a lot of your comments. I've started responding to a few of your comments. That's me on the end of the comment on the Gooner Fanzine TV. We'll try and get Dan to get in the comment section in the future. That'll be
Glen when he gets a
interesting.
smartphone as
And
well.
Glen when he gets the smartphone.
Yeah, actually, Virgin rang me up during this. That's why they keep badgering me to get one.
We hear you've got acid reflux. We can help you with that.
Yeah, that was Rennie phoning you.
Yeah, there's a Rennie over there. I'm gonna have it.
Or do you want a Nokia 310, 3210 even?
Anyway,
Anyway.
thank you very much. Please subscribe, press the like button. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.
Emery KN.
Watford.
And with that, the podcast is over.